friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another speed build. So for today's video, I'm really excited. This one definitely feels like I'm going back to my roots. I'm doing my all-time favorite ever thing, and that is building the perfect American suburban type of family home. And this is also one of my first dedicated fall builds for this season. I know I've done like a little pumpkin patch type thing already as well, but you know, this one is definitely dedicated to fall. I actually decorated with some pumpkins, and the entire color scheme for this house in general is just inspired by the season. So everything is very warm toned. We have a lot of like creamy beiges, but also orangey browns, dark green, yellow, like all those types of autumnal colors are definitely represented in this house, and I just had so much fun with this. This is a build that I did in the world of San Sequoia, which I haven't built there in quite some time actually, but I really love San Sequoia. When I was building this house here on this particular lot in the Sequoia, or on the Sequoia Cottage lot, this is the perfect like suburban neighborhood type thing. Like, it's woodsy, kind of foresty, there's a lot of greenery, but there's also a really cute playground in the back, and just like the streets are so beautiful, and I just thought that this would be the perfect setting for an autumnal build. As I was working on the shell for this build, you can kind of tell that the colors aren't autumnal yet because I was just building in the always summer kind of default build state for like when it comes to the seasons in the game. But then at some point I actually decided to just move a sim in, and so that I could actually change the seasons and like be building in fall as well. And that's definitely something I wanted because there's so many trees around here, and I just really wanted those to change color and, you know, add to the vibes and the color scheme of this build that I was going for in general. And this house, well, as you can see, it is just, you know, the suburban kind of shell. Like, it is so suburban. I was working off of a reference photo that I found on Pinterest, and I thought that was such a pretty photo. And I decided that I just had to work with it. And what I love about it was like the roof lines. I like the roof lines. I like the little roof over the staircase going up to the like front door. I think that is so cute. There is also a really small dormer over on the left side that I actually changed up the roofing for that bit because the way I built it now was going to make it so that that little dormer is actually not functional. And since I was thinking of a pretty large blended family type of household for this house, I really wanted there to be as much space for bedrooms as possible. So I decided to actually add a little bit of like an attic space over here. I will do that in a minute. It definitely was a lot of trial and error and adjusting, and I wasn't sure about it at first because I really liked this first version that I was going for with, I guess, the fake dormer, if you will. I really liked that as well, but I was going for function over aesthetic for this one in the end, and I do really like how it ended up looking. So I guess it's still both aesthetically pleasing but also functional the way I actually ended up doing it. So that was really fun, and it made it so that we have an extra bedroom, and there's just always something so special and like extra cozy about those attic type rooms, even though it's not actually an attic because it's still on the same level as the second floor. But the way that it feels and the way that it looks like nestled in the roofing, it just, you know, it feels like a dormer. I didn't do that until a little later though. So yeah, I did have that, and then I actually also decided to add a basement because we were one bedroom short. For the storyline that I was thinking of, I could have gone for shared bedrooms, or like at least one shared bedroom that would have worked, but I also thought that a basement would just be so fitting for this house. So here I go with that roofing trick, by the way, where I just created a little attic type space over here on the side to just, you know, actually make it a functional space. So that's what I was doing here. Definitely some trial and error. And I preferred how the roofline looked before. It was a little bit more clean, but also, again, I feel like it just adds to the aesthetic of the house the way I ended up doing it. And it's just so fun to have some extra space up there as well. But yeah, I ended up adding a basement to this house because I wanted one extra space, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to also add a laundry room in. Like a dedicated laundry space and an extra bathroom, because I was definitely imagining this house to be sort of partially renovated over time, because we do have a very specific blended family living here, and they definitely needed an extra bedroom in the basement. And I think like the way they purchased this house, I think it's a little bit of an older house, if you will. The basement was always there, of course, but there wasn't always a bedroom in. So they definitely did some renovations in the basement so that they could add not just laundry, but also like an entirely extra full bath and like a bedroom in there. The bedroom doesn't have any windows, which I know, you know, is not the greatest. However, this is The Sims, so we can basically do whatever we want. And it was fitting the storyline or the household dynamic that I was going for, which I will tell you about in a minute. I tried to keep most of me fiddling around with the floor plan in. I think I basically left the entire me figuring out the floor plan in, honestly, but that footage is always a little messy, so you're just gonna have to forgive me. But I always prefer actually leaving that in, because then you can get a better sense of the floor plan when we're actually decorating it. But the way this works is we have a pretty giant entryway, and I did that on purpose because I wanted there to be space for the Grange mudroom kit items, because we had just gotten that the day before I started building this house, actually, so I definitely wanted to use those items. I also felt like those storage units would be so perfect for a large blended family where you would need a bunch of storage, actually, and it also looks really new and beautiful and kind of like it was recently added into an otherwise just like older house. I thought that was just perfect and exactly what I was trying to go for. And yeah, so the way this happened, you could kind of tell that we have some terrain issues going on back here that I was trying to cover by just adjusting the porch, and it ended up working out. But yeah, that's because I added in a basement, but the house is on a foundation. Now you can lower the basement down, but then you get like that really weird glitch by the staircase, which wasn't that big of a deal, but it still bothered me a little bit too much. So I just decided to work with the slightly manipulated terrain here, and I was just covering it up with a porch for the most part, and then just with some greenery. And I think that ended up working out perfectly fine. And my basement still had the floor plan that I wanted. So yeah, that all worked out perfectly fine. But yeah, that's just a little annoying thing that happens when you're adding in a basement, when your house is on a foundation. It's just one of those things, and it wouldn't be a problem if you could just adjust the height of the basement without that glitch by the staircase happening. If you know what I'm talking about, you know exactly how annoying it is. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it is not important. It is okay. The important thing is that it ended up working out the way I wanted to in the end, so that was absolutely perfect. Yeah, you can really see the house come together. You can see the floor plan come together. Yeah, so the floor plan is pretty closed off. So like I said, we have a giant entryway, so I had enough space for some built-in storage and like built-in coat closets and all those things for a larger family of 7 Sims and a cat is what I was imagining for this. And then the floor plan for the rest is very closed off. So we have a kitchen dining on one end of the house. We have a living room, obviously, on the other side of the house. There's also a dedicated office slash study. There is a half bathroom on the ground floor. And then we also have another hallway with a staircase up and then the staircase down, of course, into the basement as well. So the way this floor plan worked out was a little different than what I would normally go for, but I really like how it came together. I think because it's a little different than what I would usually do, but I really like it. It feels so cozy. The more closed off feel is just exactly what I was going for. It really added to the coziness, I guess, of this house, and like it feels a little bit more cramped in a way that I was really enjoying for this one in particular. And since this lot doesn't really leave a lot of space in the back to create a backyard, I just went for a side yard here on the side of the house. So we just have a little terrace space, and then on the other side we also had some space left. So I decided to just put some extra playground equipment in the form of a swing set. I thought that was really cute. I think I also added in the monkey bars on the other side, like in the fenced in side yard, if you will. The landscaping for this house is quite simple, actually. I didn't really have a lot of space left over here on this lot, as you could probably tell, because the house is pretty big, which is also, by the way, why this video is so long. I hope you grabbed yourself a snack, something to drink, because this video is long. It's definitely long. I don't know why it took me so long to build this house, because it's not even that like gigantic, but I don't know, I guess it is a little bit more detailed than my houses have lately been when it comes to clutter. I really like to always find that perfect middle ground between lived in, cluttered coziness, but also playability at the same time. For this one, I was having a lot of fun with the Sims and the household dynamics that I was thinking of. And so the rooms just ended up being a little bit more personalized, a little bit more cluttered, and I just think it ended up looking so cozy, and it definitely had me inspired to do some gameplay as well. I feel like I am a little bit like in my storytelling or like gameplay era. That's not to say that I'm not enjoying building as much, because I am. If not, I'm enjoying it more because I feel more inspired to think of little storylines and like characters, household dynamics, and that really adds to the fun of building a house, I guess, and like the details you're thinking of. And you know, it just makes it come to life a little bit more, which is what I've been really enjoying. So yeah, for this household, like I said, I was thinking of a blended family dynamic of two parents that are now in their second marriage with each other. Well, not the second with each other, but for both of them, this marriage is the second. You probably know what I mean. And they each already had a kid or kids plural from their previous marriage. So basically we have a dad that has a teenager and a kid from a previous marriage, and then we have a mom that has just a teenager from a previous marriage, and then they now also have a baby together, and the baby is an infant. So that is 7 Sims, right? Parents, teens, kid, and baby. Oh, it's actually 6 Sims. It's 6 Sims total. 6 Sims and a cat. I thought it would be cute for them to have a cat. Maybe the cat came from one of the previous, like one of the households. Maybe they had the cat already and the cat now just lives here with everyone, or maybe it's an animal that they actually got when they moved in here. I'm not exactly sure, but they have a cat. Maybe they actually have 2 cats, because we do have one more spot in the household actually. So maybe they have 2 cats, or maybe there is space for yet another baby. I remember I was thinking of actually making the baby 2 babies, so twins from this marriage. But I decided to go against it because, I mean, it would have been fun, but the nursery upstairs is really small. Like, the bedrooms in this house aren't big, okay? We have a lot of space for Sims in this house. There's a lot of bedrooms. There's actually 5 total, but they are by no means big bedrooms. So a shared bedroom for twin infants, it just wouldn't really, it would have been a little bit too cramped. So I decided to not do that and just have one infant. I thought that would be chaos enough already. So that's what I went for. So yeah, and I thought it'd be fun for there to be some beef between the teens. The teens, they're both girls. One of them is very goth, kind of like that's their vibe. They have the basement bedroom actually, which is what they wanted. They wanted to have a space away from everyone, which is exactly their vibe. They just want to be left alone. They don't want to be bothered. They just want to be in the basement. They love playing guitar, so that's a hobby of them. And then also digital like art. So I gave them a sketch pad, and I was thinking that maybe they want to become a tattoo artist. I thought that would be really cute for them. And they do not like their stepsister whatsoever at all. Like, they have beef because their stepsister is a girly girl. She is into fashion. She has the if you're talking gameplay, I would say she has the admired icon aspiration from the high school years expansion pack, where she wants to create cute outfits, put them on, what's it called, Plopsy? Or is it Plopsy? No, I don't think it's Plopsy. I think it's something else. I don't remember, but they just are an admired icon. They are very much into fashion. They are into photography. I feel like they have a really successful social media account where they post like, where she posts like outfit pictures, and she's a trendsetter. She's popular. She's a trendsetter. She is fashionable and cool and stylish and popular, like I said, and just, you know, the it girl, if you will. And their step sibling, not so much. They want to be left alone. They don't want to have anything to do with any of that, and they are just the complete opposite, if you will. And so I think they already knew each other from high school, and they just would avoid each other because they are polar opposites. And I do feel like both have friend groups. Maybe the popular girl has like a broader friend group, and the goth teen, they have like a smaller friend group, just a couple people, but they are the quote unquote weirdos of the school. And obviously the popular people and the weirdos, they don't mix. They don't mix. They don't want to be seen together. They actually despise each other. And that's them, basically, one from each group. And their parents happened to, you know, fall in love and get married. And now they live together. And I feel like it's been like this for a few years at this point already. But still, like, they despise each other. They wish they didn't have to be step siblings. Like, ugh, they absolutely hate it. So I feel like there's definitely always some beef going on. They try to avoid each other at all costs, but it doesn't always go that way. Obviously, they go to the same high school, so they would definitely just like run into each other. And I feel like their groups would have beef sometimes as well. And it's just, you know, it's not fun. It is not a good vibe. Just in general. But yeah, they live together in this house, and so naturally that would cause some, you know, some trouble sometimes, and it would definitely cause a little bit of stress, and just, that's just what happens. And then, yeah, so the goth teen always used to be the only child. And they loved it like that. Like, they used to be an only child. It used to be just them and their parent, and they loved being an only child, and they wouldn't want to have it on any other way. Now, all of a sudden, they have 3 siblings, 2 of them being step siblings, 1 being a half sibling. They absolutely freaking hate it. So hence the bedroom in the basement, where they can just, you know, be left alone, and that's what they just want in general. And then, yeah, so the popular girl has a little brother, and he's just a kid. He's just a kid bumbling around in San Sequoia. I feel like he would be a rambunctious child. He loves to play outside. He also has a science table in his bedroom. So he loves science. He loves to play outside. He loves to go over to the playground, hang out with his friends. He can't be bothered with the issues between their sibling and step-sibling. Like, they don't care. They're not, I mean, I'm sure they're aware of it, but I don't think he really cares. He is, in my brain, he would maybe be like 8 years old or something like that. So yeah, he's just a kid, just, you know, a fun kid that is, I feel like, also very funny. I feel like he would always be telling a lot of jokes, making everybody laugh. Even though maybe his siblings like really don't want to laugh, he still manages to make them laugh from time to time. I felt like that would be so cute. So yeah, that's them and like his personality a little bit. But for the rest, he's just a kid. You know, he just has to grow into himself still a little bit more, but he's only 8, so it's okay. And then they have, the parents have 1 new child from this marriage, and that is also, he's also a little boy, and he is a infant. So, you know, he's just a baby. Not really anything else I can say about that. He's just a baby. And I do feel like both teenagers, I think the kid, he's fine with it. The kid's like, sure, the more the merrier. I love babies, you know, like it's okay. But then I think the teenagers in this house, they're both not very much into it. You know, for the goth teen, I feel like it's pretty clear that they just, not another kid, you know, like, no thank you, I don't want to have anything to do with him. But then the popular teenager, I think she also wouldn't be too pleased about it, or maybe she's just a little bit indifferent to it. Maybe she's like, ugh, there's already so many people in this house. I don't have time for this. I just want to, you know, work on my social media, take cute mirror selfies in my bedroom, which I set that all up for her, like in a cute corner as well. And she just wants to be worried about her fashion, her pictures, her social media, her friends. Maybe she has like a vlog channel online. I think that could be really cute, or like some sort of fashion channel, not necessarily vlogs. I think like more like a fashion sort of channel, on SimTube, if you will. I think that would be really cute. So that would be what she's doing. And I think she's, I feel like she also would be a little bit indifferent to the new baby. I don't think she wants to have anything to do with it. She just doesn't have any time. I do think that she has to babysit the kid from time to time, which she doesn't really want to do. Then she'd have to like babysit her little brother and then her littler brother, like the baby brother, at the same time. I do think maybe her parents would give her a little bit of money so that she can go and buy more outfits, you know? Even though she probably makes some money on social media as well, so she doesn't really need to, but I think that would be kind of like a fun dynamic for them. I'm, by the way, like talking over the entire process of me decorating this house, but you can really tell where this is going. It is insanely autumnal. We have all the browns going on. It is definitely mismatched in that sense as well, and I did that on purpose because it is two households merged together with their furniture and like trying to mix things that don't really mix well, but still like they're not going to go ahead and buy all types of new furniture when they have perfectly fine furniture from their previous homes, you know, so it's all like kind of mixed in together, and it's definitely not all going very, you know, like it just not everything goes, but it's okay. I personally am loving the mismatched vibes. I also love the orangey wood tones that I'm using here. I feel like it is so autumnal. Does it go with the floor that I chose, like the wood floor for this house? Not really, but that's kind of what I meant by not everything mixes, you know, and that's just how it is. They didn't have the money, or they didn't want to spend the money on actually redoing all the floors for this house. Like, this is a big house that is expensive. We're not going to do that. The floor's fine, you know, that sort of vibe. So that's just what's going on here. I did change the color. I know I placed those like yellow curtains essentially throughout the entire living room and also the study from the Brindleton Bay Cats and Dogs pack. I love those curtains. I liked them in yellow, but when I came back to this house for another decorating session, I think I decorated this in like 2 or 3 sittings. I came back to this house and something was bothering me about those yellow curtains, so I actually swapped them out for a more blue teal-ish color. I will show it to you when we tour the house at the end of the video or at the end of the speed build when it's all done. But yeah, I swapped out the color of the curtains because it was just bothering me a little bit too much. But for the rest, I really like how the living room came together. It is definitely a little bit messy. I used a lot of items actually from the Growing Together pack in here. I use a lot of Growing Together in general. We're not only building in San Sequoia, I'm also using doors, windows, columns, wallpapers, like exterior wallpapers, from that pack for this house, because surprise, surprise, all those items just really go together very nicely. So yeah, I just ended up doing that, and I just think it's the exact style that I wanted for this house. Here you can see the color of the curtains. I think I used that same color in the living room eventually as well, because it just cooled it down, or like toned it down a little bit. The yellow was just warm tone upon warm tone upon warm tone, and it just felt a little bit too much. Obviously I wanted it to be autumnal, but I also wanted to still be balanced in a way, so I decided to change out the colors for the curtains anyway. Then here in the kitchen, as you can see, I decided to go for the Parenthood counters, which I haven't used in so long, so it was really fun to revisit. I also haven't used them in this swatch in particular very often. The white counters with the orangey brown countertop, it's just not something I use very often, but I think it looks super cozy, and I absolutely love how it blends here in this kitchen in general. I also really like the subway tile that I used here in the kitchen. It just brightens everything up a little bit, and it goes nicely with the white counters to kind of like, you know, mix everything. I was definitely using some whites in this kitchen to brighten everything up. You can also see that in the chairs that I was using. So yeah, and I definitely had to go and clutter up this kitchen with all the items from the kitchen clutter kit, because this is a large household, a messy household, a bunch of kids that all have to go to school, make lunches, are hungry, need snacks before they go to their like clubs or sports or whatever, you know, like, so there's a lot going on in this household at all times. I also think that one of the parents really likes to cook a lot, so that's why I ended up placing that family recipe cookbook, actually from the, I think it's from Businesses and Hobbies, if I'm not mistaken. I'm absolutely obsessed with that item. I think it's so pretty, but I just keep forgetting to place it, so I was really excited to actually remember it for this one and put it in the kitchen. I thought that was so cute. And then for the parents, I'm not exactly sure. I thought a lot about the kids dynamic and like the teenagers, but not so much about the parents. Obviously they love each other. They got married. This is their second marriage. I don't really know what their respective careers would be. We do have a home office, so I think that at least one of the parents from time to time does some work from home. But for the rest, I don't really know what their careers would be. My brain always goes teacher for some reason. That is just what always happens, but I don't think any of these parents would be teachers. I think maybe one of them could be like a lawyer or something, but at the same time, that just feels a little bit too fancy. I don't really want these people to be fancy in any way. Not that all lawyers are fancy, but when I think lawyers, I think of TV shows, and lawyers in TV shows are always fancy. You know what I mean? So I don't know, maybe not a lawyer. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe one of them could be quote unquote just in the business career. The other one could be, I really don't know. If you have any ideas for the jobs these parents could have, let me know in the comments. Maybe one of them is actually like a in the tech career. Maybe they're like a tech person. I feel like that could be a thing. And then they don't really work from home. They always work at the office, like they do programming and stuff. You could do that from home actually, but I feel like maybe they would do that at their workplace. I'm not exactly sure what these parents would do. I could totally see the business career though, but if you have any ideas, let me know. We are currently decorating the basement. I love this basement. So as you can see, I was definitely using the Grange mudroom kit in here in orange. I love that orange swatch. I will say I wish we would have gotten some wood tones for those cabinets. I think that would have been so perfect. We didn't. We got colorful and then some neutral swatches obviously as well. But I thought the orange looked really good because for one, obviously this is an autumnal house, so the orange color was just really, really nice. And I love how it pairs with this dark green wallpaper that I used in here in this goth teenager's bedroom. I know it's not like in the same room, so the color scheme doesn't really have to match, but at the same time, when you look at the house as a whole, I kind of want everything to kind of go together in a way and just kind of flow together nicely. So that was something I was paying attention to, and I love that orange swatch. I think I'll be using that more often because it's absolutely adorable. And then in here, obviously, we have the goth teenager's bedroom, and I was kind of trying to think of their hobbies. I placed that little chess trophy kind of thing on their nightstand. I'm thinking that maybe they are in the chess club at school. I think that would be just kind of fun and like something to add to their personality, as they really love playing chess and they're in the chess club. And I also think that they are into gaming, so I gave them some of the comfy gamer like clutter items, some game posters, some just like little, actually like actual games as well. And I also gave them a gaming laptop. They also have a sketch pad because they are into art and digital art in that sense. And I do think that at some point they want to become a tattoo artist. Maybe they already know that they want to become a tattoo artist, but they don't really know how to tell their parents, because I was thinking that these Sims are probably around 15 years old, and I think the parents would be like, what? No, you're too young to get a tattoo. But eventually the Sim will definitely get a whole bunch of tattoos. I feel like that would definitely be their vibe, but not until they're a little older, I think. But yeah, this bedroom is by far the biggest, so I feel like that would be fair because they're in the basement. There's no window here. But at least they get a very spacious bedroom, you know what I mean? So this bedroom is really nice and big, and it's just a little bit of, I feel like the vibe is one thing, like it's definitely pretty like goth inspired, but then there's also like this random gaming desk chair, you know what I mean? So not everything just like goes together perfectly, but it is a little messy, and I just really liked that. I love their desk setup. I added in some red tones here though, or like some splashes of red. I thought that would be really cute, so I did that for them. And since I added in that gaming desk chair, I was like, oh yeah, they're probably into like games, into My Sims and whatnot. So I decided to add some game posters. Yeah, like I said, the sketch pad, like some digital art, clutter, a gaming laptop. Yeah, we have some clutter on the floor. I had to adjust that clutter. I thought that Sims could step over that floor clutter piece from high school years, and they can, but not every like side of it, not every corner, I think. And the way I placed it now, it was actually blocking the routing from getting to the bed when I was playtesting this. So I actually had to adjust the clutter a little bit, but that was all I had to adjust for this room in particular. For other things, I think for the main bedroom upstairs for the parents, I had to adjust because I used the Grange mudroom built-in wardrobe, like storage, for their wardrobe also. And that was just, the room is so small, so they couldn't really walk around the bed anymore. So I just had to like merge it with the wall a little bit more. But yeah, with all that being said, I did play test this house to make sure everything was functional, because there was definitely some things that I was like, ooh, I'm not sure if the way I placed it is actually problematic or not. And some things ended up being problematic, so I just had to shuffle it around a little bit, but then everything was fine. So yeah, that's that. And we have moved on to the second floor. So of course we have a landing that is not too interesting because, you know, needed routing to be possible there. We have a lot of doors to get to, so I just placed a few clutter items there. A little bench, a little bookcase, and you know, that's it. And then this is the parents' room. The parents' bedroom is really small, but they do have an ensuite. So that is really nice for them. Actually, they get to have a little bit of privacy here. And I really like the color scheme. I thought the dark blue wallpaper in here was such like a fresh color, and it still feels very autumnal in my opinion, especially combined with the warmer tones of the floor. I placed these beige colored items from the Grange mudroom, and here I was trying to be fancy, and I was trying to place some hanging items as well, and I just kind of like merging them with the overhead counters or overhead cabinets, and it worked out. But it ended up being a little bit too bulky, like I said, so that Sims couldn't actually walk past or walk between the bed and the wardrobes, and it's definitely over, I think, half a tile of space. So I don't know why it's problematic for them, because I thought Sims only needed half a tile of space to walk places. And usually that is a good rule of thumb. And it 9 out of 10 times is the way to go, and it works. But for this room, for some reason, it was too bulky, it wasn't working. So what I actually ended up doing is I just merged the wardrobes with like into the wall a little bit more, and then it was fine. So it wasn't too big of an adjustment. But yeah, if you download this house and you do end up having issues there, just know that if you like merge them into the wall maybe a little bit more, it should be fine. I don't know, sometimes the game is weird where I adjust something and then it works for me, but then it doesn't work for others. Like sometimes that happens. But yeah, that was the parents' bedroom. And then the second bedroom that we are decorating over here is the kids' room. I wanted this kids' room to be like blue and orange. I thought that would kind of work with the color scheme of the house and like the autumnal vibes in a way. So we have this blue sports inspired wallpaper. I think this kid is into sports. This kid is into science. This kid is into animals, just playing outside. I feel like this kid is into all types of different things. And yeah, I thought that'd be cute. I don't really place the science table all that often. So I remember when I was decorating this over on stream, I was like, I don't want to have another just sports themed kids room because I feel like I always do that. And then someone suggested, why don't you put in a science table? And I thought that was a really, really cute idea. So I ended up doing exactly that. So we have a science table in here. And then also that makeshift rocket, like that cardboard box rocket that they're working on. I placed one of the swatches where it doesn't have any paint or colors on them because in my brain they're like still working on that. Unfortunately, it's not actually a functional toy that they can work on. It's just decorative, but I think it looks really, really cute. So the actual functional toys they have in here are the science table and then also a toy box. And then outside they have some playground equipment. There is the Monkey Jungle bars and then a swing set. But then right behind this lot, kind of like behind / next to this lot, is a playground, and I feel like this kid would always be playing outside on the playground, so that is right by the house, which is really, really nice. Then the third bedroom here that we're working on is actually the nursery, and I was going for some brown and green tones in here, a little dinosaur wallpaper. I thought that was so, so cute. And usually I go for like brighter or like pastel-ish, like lighter colors. But for this house, I decided, you know what? No, we're just continuing the fall kind of color scheme. So I was going for some browns, greens, you know, that sort of thing. And the way I placed that playmat is actually, surprisingly enough, not blocking my Sims from getting to the changing table. I don't know why. Like the weirdest things work as opposed to things that don't work in this game. Like sometimes it really doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I for sure thought the playmat would have to be moved, but it didn't have to be moved in order for my sim to get to the changing table. So, you know, that was a win, I guess. And then the final bedroom here that we are using is, or that we're decorating is for the popular girl fashion teenager. This space, like the shape of the space is really weird because this is that quote unquote attic room. And it is a really strange like shape of a room, but I really like how it ended up looking. It was really cute because I had like different nooks, which was fun. So I had this like nook here by the window where I could place a desk. I'm obsessed with the colors of this desk. I don't know if I've ever used this particular color or swatch, but I think it's really, really nice. And yeah, I just used a lot of high school years furniture overall for these teen bedrooms because it just makes sense to have the high school year stuff. They have such good colors and like vibes overall. It just really, really works. So yeah, that's what I was going for. And this girl, she loves the color purple. So she has a lot of purple, like lilac, purple, and like pink. I do think there's also some blue in here. So definitely a colorful room, but very girly in a way. A lot of pastel colors, also some yellow. Obviously, I had to put a bunch of posters. And since we do have laundry in this house, I really try to give everyone their own hamper. I'm not sure. I think even the kids' room has a hamper, but I'm not sure. I might have gotten rid of it because I didn't have space. There are, however, also hampers in the laundry room, and I think it's pretty easy through gameplay to just, you know, pick up the laundry pile and drag it into a hamper because there's definitely a bunch of hampers around. And I do think laundry would be a really, really fun thing to actually play with in this house. It would definitely add something that is so like mundane and so normal and a little boring in a way, but I think it just really, really would be so fun and so realistic for a household like this. It'd be so fun for the teenagers to have that chore to do the laundry, and they would be so annoyed by it, you know, like it'd be really fun. And then one teenager would have to get the laundry from the other and they won't open the door for them because they don't want to be bothered, you know, something like that. I feel like those types of gameplay, little realistic things are just so fun to think of and to kind of play through. Yeah, you can really see this room come together. We have that really cute mirror with the like mirror selfie corner. I also set up a little ring light for her, I think. Yeah, she has a ring light here right by the mirror, so you can really tell that she uses that space to stand there like on the rug and take some mirror selfies. I could totally see that for her. It just is so fun. Especially these teen personalities, I can really see them. But yeah, then we also have the back or slash, you know, side yard, if you will, and the back porch. The back porch is kind of narrow, but I still want it there to be a cute sitting room or sitting area there. There's also a nice sitting like lounge area on the front porch actually. So there's a bunch of places to sit around this house inside and outside, which I think is really, really nice. They can just enjoy the fall weather. I even remembered to place a litter box for the cat, which is something I always forget to do, but I've been getting better at it, and I actually remembered to place one here on the back porch. So that was really good of me to do that. And then here we have this pretty large terrace space actually, where I just placed another outdoor bin. We have a bunch of those around. There's also a barbecue or grill, and then I went for this 8-seater dining table. I thought it'd be fun for them to have some like extended family dinners in the backyard, maybe when the weather is still nice in fall, or, you know, in the summertime. I could totally see that for them as well. And then I wanted to add an extra skill activity in here, so I decided to go for the flower arranging table. I thought that was a good one to add. And then there's just a bunch of planters around. So if one of these parents or one of these Sims here is into gardening, there's definitely some planters around for them to use as well. And then I just placed the final few things. I thought some bees randomly would be cute, so I added in some bees and also the decoration box from Seasons as the very last item, and then that's it. So let's jump in the game and I'll show you the house in real time. So here we have the house in the game. Just look at Sand Sequoia in fall. It is absolutely magical, so pretty. The trees are gorgeous, and this house blends right in, if I do say so myself. Behind the lot here, this is that playground that I was talking about, so that's really good to have. There's that really beautiful pond kind of thing or lake, and Sims can just kind of go and walk around it. This world and this neighborhood are so beautiful. and I need to play here more. But of course, this is the house. I think the curb appeal is great for this one. It is so suburban. And on the side here, of course, we have the yard. I parked some bikes here as well, and we just have the yard here with some activities. You can sit outside and have some dinner. There's that really cute back porch, of course, with some extra seating. There's also an easel here for Sims to do some painting. So I think there's quite a lot of skill building items here, which is always nice to have. But then when we go inside, let me show you that floor plan. So yeah, we have the entrance, the kitchen, the living room right here. Then there's a hallway with the staircase going up, and the basement staircase, of course. There is a half bath and an office. So out front here, we just have this really cute porch. I love the orangey wood tones, and then that purple color. So pretty. Of course, I had to decorate with a couple of pumpkins at least, so that's what I did. But then inside we have that really nice large entry with a lot of storage, which is great for the amount of Sims that we have and all the kids. There was just a coat rack, an umbrella rack, a little bench here to sit and put your shoes on. So that is pretty realistic, I guess. And then off to the side here is the living room. And here you can see that I actually changed out the color for the curtains for that blue teal-ish color. And I think it's nice, like it tones it down a little bit. We have a pretty cluttered living room over here with just a bunch of things. I do think that this family tries to do weekly game nights, like weekly family game nights, which doesn't always go very well because obviously the teenagers can't stand each other. So that is always, you know, interesting, an interesting event, if you will. There's some more board games just kind of stored behind the chair here. I thought that was pretty realistic. They have a fireplace, a bookcase. Behind here is a piano. Maybe one of the Sims in this household actually plays the piano, or maybe it just kind of came with the house. That's also a thing that sometimes happens. On this side here is an office, and I actually kept the curtains in here yellow because I thought it was nice to have some variety. And we just have a computer here, and I thought it'd be cute to have the creativity table right next to it so the kid and one of the parents could just sit here together. There's also a cat tree so the cat can join in. I hate it when the cat trees do this, when they like merge with the rug that way. It wasn't like that when I placed it, but it's okay. Then there is a half bath here off of the living room as well, which is very self-explanatory. It's just a little half bath. Through here is where we have that hallway, of course, and then there's also an archway to the staircase that leads to the basement, and then there's a door into the kitchen, but there is also an archway into the kitchen from the landing or from the entry. So confusing, but that's just the way it made the most sense in my opinion. So over here we have the kitchen and dining. The kitchen's nice and cluttered. I like the white in here. It's really fresh, or like refreshing, I guess. So yeah, we have a coffee nook here, which is much needed in this household. I got rid of the microwave because I sized it down and I thought sized down microwaves were still functional, but it wasn't functional here. So I decided to just get rid of it. And then you just have some extra counter space. I thought that was nice. Over here we have a 6-seater dining table. And then, of course, also a high chair for the little one and a bowl for the cat. Then let's first go downstairs. So this is the basement. She is very cramped. I decided to go with some drywall because I thought that would be realistic for the renovations that have just kind of just happened in my brain. So I don't know. I thought it'd be fun to have some drywall up here. It's just such a basement thing to have. So they have some storage in here. There is a laundry space in here. And then off of the laundry is a full bathroom. And then of course we have the first teens room in here as well. So this room is very black and green. And then there's just some splashes of other colors too, but for the most part, very black and green. This teen is into games, into art, into music, playing the guitar. So those are the kinds of hobbies that I was kind of trying to represent in here. Then going to the second floor, we just have a bunch of bedrooms here. So first of all, we have the landing, which has another cat tree and some storage, but then that's really it. The first door over here is the kids' room. Kids' room is very blue and orange and playful. They have a science table, a desk to sit and do crafts or homework or whatever it is that they want to do. They just have some kid decorations here, and then of course some toys as well. Next to the kids' room is the main parents' bedroom. This one's a little bit more toned down when it comes to colors, so it's very beige, brown, and I guess dark blue. They do have an ensuite in here, so just a nice shower top combo, sink and toilet. And then they have some built-in wardrobes here, like I said, that I had to merge into the wall a little bit more, but then it actually ended up working out. So yeah, this should all be functional. The room in the middle here is the nursery, which is really small, but that's just what it is. That's just what they have to work with. Maybe by the time this child or this baby grows up and like gets bigger, the teens will, or maybe one of the teens will be out of the house away at college, and then they can get like a bigger room. I'm not exactly sure, but you know, for now they just have this really tiny nursery that is still cute. And then here we have a hall bathroom. That's a full bathroom with a shower, no tub. And then this door over here is the other teens' room. And I think that this is my favorite room. I just really like how this one came together. I love this nook right here with all the clothes, the mirror, the ring light, the chair. They have their bed over here, a desk on the other end here in this little nook, and a wardrobe, of course, for additional storage. But that is it for this house. So this autumnal family home is up on the gallery. The gallery has been super buggy lately, where a lot of people's builds just cannot be found for some reason. It is up on the gallery though, so you should be able to find it. If not, it's probably the gallery being buggy. It's an expensive house that comes in at just under 121,000 simoleons, and I built it on a 30 by 20 on the Sequoia Cottage lot in the world of San Sequoia. So if you want to place it in your game, then that's where it goes. Thank you so much for watching. You can grab this build from the gallery like I just showed you. My username on the gallery is Simmary Sims. You can also find me on Instagram and on Twitch under the username Simmary Sims as well. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click that bell icon if you want to see more. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!